or preventable complications in pregnancy or childbirth, when the woman has to give birth without the help of a midwife, nurse, or doctor. Yet, imagining the world.
Let us applaud feminists and activists. You ignited a movement from Cairo to Beijing, and until today, you champion rights and choices for every girl so that she may fulfill her dreams. Thank you. And I urge us to heed the interests of that young girl and the solutions that we devise, her interests, as we commit in those Nairobi commitments that we announce, her interests in decisions we take in the days to come. The way forward is by focusing on one number only. And for UNFPA, that number is 0. 0 unmet need for contraception, so that every woman and adolescent girl decides for herself whether, when to get pregnant, how many children to have. 0 preventable maternal deaths, so that no woman will have to die for want of reproductive care.
We cannot return to a time when women had little say in reproductive issues, or for that matter, in any area of their lives. I think we can all agree that Icpd was a turning point, a defining moment in our history. In Cairo, the world articulated a bold new vision about the relationship between population, development, and individual well-being, and the empowering of women and meeting people's needs for education and health, including sexual and reproductive health, are necessary for both individual advancement and balanced development. And I think we can all agree and be thankful for that in 1994, we stood united on such a visionary and common agenda. An agenda that paved the way for a more just, prosperous, and sustainable future. An agenda that acknowledged that people, women and men, mothers and fathers, were the best judges, guided by knowledge and access in terms of how many children to bring into the world, if to have children, and the spacing of them.
Achieving gender equality and women's empowerment and upholding women's rights is a game changer for poverty reduction, inclusive growth, democratic governance, peace, and justice. The Sustainable Development Goals cannot and will not be achieved until women, girls, and young people are able to control their bodies and their lives and live a life free from fear and from violence. The power to choose the number, timing, and spacing of children is a human right that can bolster well-being, economic, and social development. And when people can exercise their rights, they thrive, and they do, and so do societies at large. When these rights are denied, people's ability to achieve their full potential is constrained, and economic and social progress is impeded. And that's why governments must invest in human capital throughout the life course, from birth to older age, and particularly in helping children and adolescents to develop their full potential. This also means giving young people a place at the table to contribute to the formulation, implementation, and evaluation of policies and programs, such as those that are related to job creation, employment, and in the end, the fulfillment of their aspirations.
We can all together agree to eliminate female genital mutilation, which remains one of the most serious violations of human rights of women and girls. I would like to restate my personal commitment and that of the government of Kenya to providing the leadership necessary to ensure that this practice ends within this generation. In April this year, we signed a landmark declaration between the governments of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Somalia, and Ethiopia to address cross-border FGM practice. And last week, we signed an agreement with religious and cultural elders from Kenya to eliminate FGM by 2022. I also believe that we can all commit to eliminate violence against women and girls. A woman has a 1 in 3 chance of experiencing physical or sexual violence in her lifetime. This is a major gap in our development record as a global community. Since 1994, Kenya has enacted laws that focus on the eradication of gender-based violence and harmful practices, which include the Prevention Act against Domestic Violence of 2015. Further, I believe that we can all commit to eliminate child marriages. The percentage of young women between 20 and 24 years of age who are married before their 18th birthday has declined from 34% in 1994 to 25% in 2019. But the absolute number of girls under 18 who are at risk of child marriages is estimated at 10.3 million in 2019. In Kenya, 23% of girls are married before their 18th birthday. Early marriages denies our girls a chance to achieve their full potential in education and limits their socio-economic contribution. Kenya joins other nations in celebrating the progress made since Cairo. We have achieved universal access to free primary and secondary education, and indeed this year, we achieved 100% transition from primary to secondary education. Further, we have achieved gender parity in both primary and secondary schools. On health, I am happy to say that we have dramatically reduced child and infant mortality, and maternity services and health services for children below 1 year are free in all government health institutions. Reduction in maternal mortality has been steady but slower, has steadily decreased but at a slower pace, from 698 in 1994 to 362 per 100,000 live births today, while the contraceptive prevalence rate has doubled. I also believe that we can also, together, commit to accelerate the reduction in maternal deaths. Progress has been much slower than projected in 1994. The death of a mother during pregnancy or while giving birth significantly reduces the chances of our children to survive and thrive. And yet, as we are demonstrating through Kenya's First Lady's Beyond Zero program, most maternal deaths can be prevented with proper antenatal care, skilled delivery at birth, and access to emergency obstetric care. The world faces increased health threats including threats from reproductive cancers such as breast, cervical, and prostate cancer. And there are also growing environmental pressures, including the urgent threat of climate change. This has made the commitments of Cairo more urgent and indeed more complex. To complete the unfinished agenda, therefore, requires us to develop new partnerships, mobilize political support, increase the level of international and domestic financing, and accelerate implementation of innovative and supportive interventions. Fortunately, there is a greater international commitment and cooperation to address these issues. The Sustainable Development Goals have provided a comprehensive international platform to systematically advance the Cairo Agenda. We also have more scientific and research evidence on what works and better technologies to guide and support policy.